these careers are still going to be there. The only thing about it is it's going to be far and few in between.
AI is challenging college degrees. So basically, and this one right here is coming to us from USA Today.
Yes.
And the question is, are certain degrees still worth it with AI coming out? And specifically, they're talking about the humanities degrees. And when we talk about humanities degrees, we're talking about art history, English literature, history, anthropology, sociology, philosophy, foreign language, gender studies, political science, theology, and religious studies. Whew.
For all the things that people need to do research on, are they still important?
Will they pay? I think is the big question, really, what it comes down to.
They will pay. They won't get paid handsomely, and they won't be a lot of those jobs available. But what they will have is people who need to do research, and people who need to do research with the tech tools that they can use. Like if you take somebody who has skills with generative AI, like people know how to prompt engineer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they want to be able to fact check some of the kids' work that they plagiarize, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be real big because obviously, they're going to have these things where you can be able to make sure that this is real work that you did, not something you copied off of these AI platforms. So they're going to be there. How important will it be? It will be. It won't be as important as it is now, but some of those jobs have to be there. Why? Because not everybody learns the same, right?
True.
Everybody learns differently. Some people, especially those who go back to school, there's an abundance of people that's going back to school that are probably like, I would say 40s, 50s, and 60s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they can't relate to a professor that's 20 years their junior. And they may not know the tools of AI. So all these positions they have to have in place. So you won't get the ageisms. People don't want to go to school because they feel like they're too old and their professor doesn't understand them because they don't know ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So these jobs, these careers are still going to be there. The only thing about it is it's going to be far and few in between.
Yeah, I agree with you with that one, man, because I mean AI can kind of do some of this stuff like art history. I don't know how critical that's going to be moving forward, right? Especially if you're talking about majoring in that, if you go to college. And we were just talking about college debt earlier, right? If you come from a family where you have to get a loan to go to college and you use that loan to major in art history, I don't know what the probability is you're going to get a good paying job in that field. I don't know, right?
Right. And then here's the thing. That goes to show you that if you're going to go get the education that you truly believe you deserve and that you want, you're going to have to be cost efficient. You're going to have to make sure that looking at, okay, so if I go ahead and take this career path and my student loans is $32,000 after I graduate, but the job that I'm getting is only going to be $34,000 a year. I have to make sure that is the risk worth the reward. Because think about it, $32,000 plus tax, interest, and all of that. That's like buying a $40,000 vehicle.
For real. It's probably more than that with the interest rates that go on these student loans. Them things is high, boy.
Yeah, but with presidents that have loan forgiveness programs, and if we have this same presidency in the next 4 years, and people start hearing more, because there's been another abundance of loan forgiveness that went out that people are not familiar with. And more, I'm sure more to come as long as this presidency stays intact. But it's like, would you rather pay off a car or pay off your student loans? Because that's the time frame. You go to school for 4 years, you get a car for 6 years, but your car note is only $385. But your school loan, because you don't start paying them. Most of them, most people don't start paying off student loans until after they graduate.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So there's already 4 years of debt acquired.
With that interest too.
With that interest, right? So, is it worth it?
And you know what? To help answer that question, I want to share a quote from that article, and this quote came from Thai Badu, I think. I don't know. Anyway, he said, and he's the president of CompTIA. CompTIA, they're the governing bodies for certifications like Security Plus, which a lot of people want to get. In that quote, it goes, "Don't go to a school where they're using books that were written 5 years ago."
Oh, yeah, that's smart.
That's smart. That's I mean, because if the books were written 5 years ago, you are already behind it.
Yeah, you're late in the game.
You late in the game. Now, on the flip side, I want to share another quote that came from Mark Cuban in that article. He argues that AI will increase the value of humanities degrees in the future as employers will seek out critical thinking and creative skills that AI cannot replicate. Now, I see that point because, I mean, AI is just a really good regurgitator at this point, right? It just regurgitates the information it learned. And who did it learn it from? Us, the humans. We still the supreme beings, okay? Don't get it twisted, man. But you know what?
The flesh, because the flesh is the best.
That the flesh is the best. Ooh, but you know what? AI is the new plug. So, but the flesh is
and
still
the best. What?
The new drug. But nah, I feel that right because it cannot critical think. It's a good regurgitator of the information we taught it. You get what I'm saying? But we still need those critical thinking skills. So, and on the other hand, I feel that from Mark Cuban, right? Because you take like anthropology, right? We need people that could study how we've evolved, right? So we can biggest things I think we need to learn, and we're starting to lose a lot of this, empathy, right? Man, as a society, we lack empathy bad. But without your anthropologist, your sociologist, right? We don't have that, man. And that's what creates so much just chaos here, man. We need that. And then also too, in the world of business, right? Businesses make money from solving their customers' problems. We need to be able to create critical thinkers out there in the workforce. Because if we're just relying on AI, man, we're just gonna be a lot of walking dummies.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? we do need, like I said, we do need critical thinkers. We need flesh. We need humans, and we need human interaction. Right?
Yes, you know human interaction. We need social skills, man. Yeah,
we need to have them. And here's the thing: we need people, and now I'm talking to the golden years, the platinum years, and the silver years.
Shout out to you, I am Jeff. You had to take off. Genevieve, I see you. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for joining. We need those. We need that community as well. Why? Because of the fact that some people do not know what it's like without these devices in our hands.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they need to know that you can still survive if your device goes out.
True.
You know what I'm saying? We talked about it. We talked about it a couple shows ago about how people don't know how to use, you know what I'm saying, use a map. They don't know how to use a Thomas guide. They don't know how to use, they don't know how to follow directions unless they have a navigation app inside their hand. And me personally, I'm for the navigation app because it gives you the heads up, like if there's traffic along the way. But I know how to get to where I'm going if there's a problem. The only issue is there's a generation out there that don't. And we need to do a better job of educating those that don't.
Yeah. No, good point, man. And so I think there's still a need for like the humanities degrees. I just think some of them, like art history, I don't know if you should major in that. Maybe take the class if you want to learn about that. Sociology, I think there's a place in that. History, I think we need that as a subject, as a concentration degree. I don't know about that, man.
Or don't make the degree cost so much. You know what I'm saying? Instead of it being $20,000.
Good point. Oh, and you know what? There's one thing we do got to talk about from this article before we wrap this thing up. So I was talking about governance. Here's governance at play again. So let me go back. The part of this discussion, right? The Biden administration is implementing regulations requiring colleges to provide detailed information on whether their programs lead to gainful employment. And the biggest thing from this is colleges have to start these reports in October. I like that because now what you're doing is you're giving prospective students the ability to see, if I take this degree, do I have a good chance of getting a job? Because that's lacking right now. For people don't know, I learned this when I was in workforce development with my IT technical training school. As a technical training school, we had to report how many of our students actually got jobs. We had to report it to the Texas Workforce Commission, and we had to maintain a 60% employment rate. The colleges, they don't have to maintain none of that, because colleges are built to educate, not necessarily get people jobs, right? I like this part. It might be some of the hater in me for when I was running my school, because I'm like, how y'all get all that money, but you ain't got to make sure people get jobs, right? I'm a little bitter. I'm a little bitter, right? I'm petty. They call me Petty Officer Moreno, but but no, I like this. But because without this, people that come for our communities, man, who's really trying to step up and level up in life, if they don't have that informed decision to make, then you get stuck in debt, man. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all, man. So I like this right here. And I think Jeff, he jumped off. He said that Biden ain't doing nothing. This is huge. This is huge, man. That's huge. And AI is forcing this conversation.
Yeah. You know, one thing is for certain, two things is for sure, bro. Debt is another form of slavery. And what you don't want to do is go into slavery, go into debt for something you think that you're going to be making yourself a better human by getting a degree. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
It's like everybody, and I'm like, I'm not knocking people who go to school. I'm not. You want to be able to accomplish something. My kids are going to go to school and go to college. So, you know what I'm saying? College to me was going to get certificate programs for things that I need because of the fact that I personally took a different route. However, if you're going to go to school, make sure that the classes and the skills that you're taking, the courses you're taking is going to be beneficial for you, not just for you to get a degree and say, got a degree.
I got these degrees.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Look, let me tell you what else got degrees. Thermometers. And they ain't got no diploma. You feel what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to tell you is this. And I hope the young people that tune in probably sooner or later when they start tuning in, they realize, look, go to school, pick your education. 50% is something you love to do. 50% of something is going to make you a better human and financially set in a better way. And
I can rock with that.
As you get older, you start mature. When I was 18, I didn't think like I did when I was 21. Because when you go into college, you're going to be 18. When you graduate, you're going to be 21, going to 22 for your first 4 years, right? Mm-hmm. So degrees change, and things that you want to do change, and things that you want to be change. And some of them may take it, and some of them may take a toll. You know, you start out with a $40,000 degree that you wanted to go and get, but then you realize, you know what? Nah, I don't want to go. I don't want to have to pay for almost a mortgage just so I can be able to get out of debt, so I can go get a house, which is going to be another mortgage. You feel what I'm saying?
More interest.
So just think about it like that. I mean,
for real.
Make it make sense. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what
make it make sense.
We as a community.
And let me share something real quick, man, before we wrap this up. So to add on to what you said, right? Make sure it has a return on investment, right? And I want to share a personal story. I was actually working on my doctorate. I did a year out of a 3-year doctorate program. And one of my motivations was to have that doctor in front of my name, right? But then when I first started that, my situation changed. My new situation, I couldn't see a return on investment on the sacrifices I had to make just to get that doctor in front of my name, right? It wasn't worth it, so I dropped out. So definitely, spend the time, man, to see, will this degree benefit you? If so, okay, go for it. But if it's not, don't do it. Pick a different way. Yeah. There's more ways to educate yourself than just going to college. And that's coming from someone I got 3 degrees, but I got degrees that I knew I could tap into. I'm in tech. All my degrees are, 2 out of my 3 degrees are in tech. 1 is in business. But make sure it's going to be something that's going to benefit you, so you're not being jacked for your time, man. Because one thing we cannot get back is time. So just, think about that. Make sure it's benefiting you. That's the biggest thing, man.
Benefit.